expert statement process. Even to the extent of what we should be considering prior to appointing an expert.
That's the current market rate. So why would I want to go and buy something and pay more?
And all things being equal, I would expect them to be the same.
Now, what we're going to learn about today is that we don't wait for an individual or any taxpayer.
Hi guys, my name is Graham O'Reilly. I'm the Director of NSOA Learning that's responsible for the 2011 DVD program. And I'd like an opportunity to take you through what our DVDs are all about. A couple of things that I'd like to bring you up to speed on. What are we trying to do with these DVDs? Why should you be using them and how beneficial will they be? What is the format of the DVDs? There are going to be 50 to 60 of these discs, and how are those going to be arranged? I would like to introduce the lecture team. There are 4 of us that are responsible for presenting the DVDs, and I'd like to give you a bit of background to each of them. And then finish off with a little bit of a reference in terms of some of our 2010 students and what they had to say about the program. The objectives of the DVD series, for starters: the program is focused on UNISA CTA and Dipac students. It could in theory be used by other students, but our prime target group is going to be UNISA students at these honors levels. We want to do 2 things. Firstly, explain the concepts, and here we have what we're referring to as the theory or the technical set of DVDs. They won't make specific reference to the TUT letters, and the principal idea there is to go through the concepts, the fundamentals, in a manner that makes them understandable. So when you do get to the TUT letters, the assignment questions make more sense, and the ability to apply the theory to the practical is easier to do. There will then be a second set of DVDs that are bundled together, which will deal with the specific TUT letters. So having dealt with the theory first, on the theory DVDs, now we'll actually go and record DVDs that are specific to every single TUT letter for both the CTA students and the Dipac students, that will take you through the assignment questions. And this is where we're going to be looking at things like, let's break that required down. Where are the easy marks? How should you be approaching these kind of questions? How do you apply that theory into going and scoring as many marks as you can when answering questions? There's also an element of the TUT letter DVDs that will deal directly with study technique. So structuring your time, how best to be working through material, taking notes, looking for some of the mark scoring techniques along the things like understanding the required, idea generation, planning answers before you start, exam preparation, test preparation, how do you set up timetables? All of that stuff will be covered through the technique element of the TUT letter DVDs. Why should you be thinking about these DVDs? Well, a couple of the benefits are you watch what you want to watch when you want to watch it. So you don't need to see the whole thing. If there's certain elements or topics that you want to brush up on, go straight to those. If you want to revisit stuff, go back to them as often as you like. They're your DVDs. You stick them into your computer and watch them whenever it suits you. Weekends, evenings, mornings, lunchtimes, you've got that amount of flexibility. Obviously, they're also quite nice to have as a refresher before the tests or the final exams. So it's not like a lecture program where you've gone and attended the lecture, you've listened to the lecturer, and now you don't remember what he said, or you missed the lecture. It's all there on the DVD. You can look at it whenever you want to. The format of the DVD program, as I said, there's 2 components. The TUT letter component, for starters, those are recorded during the year as we get the TUT letters from UNISA. So they are specific to the 2011 TUT letters. They're not pre-recorded. There is an element of study technique coming through there. There'll be 2 to 3 DVDs dealing specifically with study technique. And typically those will be delivered 5 times during the year. Obviously right up front to preempt the first test cycle, and then in advance of each of the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th test cycles, and obviously the final delivery to coincide with the remaining period after the 4th test cycle. The theory DVDs are going to be recorded in 2 stages, one up front at the beginning of the year, which will be delivered with the first TUT letter DVD dispatch, if you like. And the second component will be delivered with the 3rd TUT letter delivery. So they will correlate to the 5 deliveries during the year. In addition to the formal DVDs that you'll be provided with, we have a student zone, which essentially is an online discussion forum. The difference with our online discussion forum is that our lecturers who conduct the DVDs are actually contracted to respond to student queries. So if you've watched the DVD and you've still got a question, or you've tried applying the theory into the practice questions and the assignment, and you don't understand an element in the solution, or how to approach that question, or there's something that you haven't quite got, head onto the Student Zone, post the discussion topic. Our lecturers are then automatically notified of that post, and they will then respond to that pronto, and any other student involved in that post would also be notified of any adjustments, any replies coming through. A final component that you can elect to achieve if you want to is the scheduling of weekly practice tests. Essentially, for the 4 tests that are written during the year, for the 4 subjects leading up to each of the 4 tests, there will be a practice test on that particular TUT letter content. The idea here is that the test would be emailed to you in advance of that week. You would then write the test. You will then mail it back to us. We'll mark it, and we'll send it back to you with feedback. Okay, that's an optional element that you can subscribe to if you choose to. Our lecturers, we've got Carl Erasmus, who heads up the financial accounting component here. Carl essentially consults in his private capacity on a whole lot of accounting and audit-related matters. He also lectures at other institutes on financial accounting. His experience, for the past 3 years, he's been handling our postgraduate financial accounting component. Historically, for both the CTA group and the Dipac group, he's pretty knowledgeable by now in terms of the CTA syllabus, the Dipac syllabus, and has a knack at going and making concepts that are pretty much complex for most of us. He makes them a lot more simple. On the taxation front, Di Seckham heads this up. Di is a qualified attorney with a master's in taxation. She consults currently through one of the bigger audit firms in Cape Town, and she's a senior tax manager at that firm currently. She also has considerable lecture experience. Has been lecturing with us for the past 4 years, but has been involved in a lecturing capacity probably for the last 10 to 12 years. She also does a lot of training in her capacity as senior tax manager at this firm. So has also a knack of getting concepts across in a really easy way to understand. Managerial accounting and finance is headed up by Professor Owen Skay. Owen's an associate professor and is the director of the Rhodes Investec Business School in Grahamstown. He was formerly an associate professor of management accounting and finance at UKZN, where from 96 to 2006, for that 10-year window, he lectured at both postgraduate and undergraduate levels, so CTA, Dipac, no problem at all. He also co-authors a book, The Principles of Management Accounting, the question book, which is published by Oxford University Press. On the auditing side, you have me. I am a director of NSOA, as I've explained. I'm the DVD project director for this program. And I've been lecturing auditing for many years, at a postgraduate level for the last 10 years, both in terms of formal Saturday classes as well as the 2010 DVD program. Some feedback on our 2010 DVDs from a couple of our 2010 students. Rajenda had this to say about the DVD program. She found it to be an invaluable source of information, an excellent tool to go through the study material with, and even suggests that without the DVD, he doesn't think that he would have passed this thing. Rochelle, the DVDs in the Student Zone were very helpful. What was initially thought as being impossible to pass, with the assistance that was provided through the DVD program, she was able to prove that wrong this year. Yankee wanted to thank us for the lectures. It was her second attempt at CTA, and particularly in terms of the auditing side, that was her problem area. This year with the DVDs, auditing made a lot more sense to her. The exam technique DVD at the end of the year also helped in terms of a motivational perspective. She nailed all 4 subjects this year without a problem. Maralise also wanted to thank NSOA for the DVDs. She also felt that they helped a lot and contributed towards her getting her CTA. This was the 3rd time that she'd written CTA, and she's passed all 4 subjects now. She hopes that you guys buy the DVDs and we can continue to provide the support that we've been doing. Just to wrap up, on the pricing structures, you've got a couple of different options to play here. You can subscribe to the theory DVDs and the TUT letter DVDs independently if you choose to. So if you're fine with the theory, maybe you've attended a lecture program in the past, your theory was never the problem, it was working through enough questions, you could then subscribe to just receive the TUT letter component of the DVD. If you're doing UNISA for the first time, it might be a good idea to get both. If you're wanting the theory to be able to brush up on principles, to revisit concepts, then obviously taking both would make sense. Maybe you're happy with the questions and all you want to do is brush up on the theory. Well, then you only need to buy the theory discs. Okay, so in the pricing structure there, you're looking at 2,000 Rand for either the theory discs or for the tut letter component. To encourage you to buy the whole lot, obviously, we'll give you a discounted price if you take both. So it'll be 3,000 Rand for the tut letter and theory component. That's the 60-odd discs in total. If you would like the practice test, that's an extra 1,000 Rand that gets added to the package cost. And these prices on the DVDs would exclude VAT and they exclude postage. We've got an online application process on our website at nsoa.co.za. You can head on to our website, go to the link Academic Support DVD program. There is extra information about the DVDs there. There's the ability to go online and view a couple of sample clips from the 2010 DVD program. And if you're wanting to place the order on the postage, you would just simply tell us what it is that you're interested in. We'll then come back and give you a quote, including postage, which you can then obviously choose to accept or not. Either way, I wish you all the best for your studies in 2011, and I really hope to have you part of our group, and I look forward to working more closely with you in 2011. Best of luck.